One of the questions that keeps coming up, both with crochet and knitting, is that when a pattern suggests a certain yarn and you can't get that from anywhere, so how do I find a yarn that substitutes the original one in such a way that there won't be any changes needed to the pattern? And that's what we are going to look at now, using two different yarn examples, finding different ones that would work the same. We are going to do that with the help of Ravelry Yarn database. To use it, you need to be signed in to Ravelry. I know that the majority of crocheters and knitters are, but if you are not, you can join it free. And this is not an advertisement, just mentioning this fact. There are so many different ways in the world to measure yarn weights, but now we concentrate just on the way it's done in Ravelry. Otherwise this would be an hour long. So I have these two yarns, and let's look at how we substitute these yarns. So let's start with this here pink yarn. It's Norwegian yarn with wool and polyamide content. It shows you the weight here, how many meters there is per 50 grams. Now to me that is the way I mainly think about yarn weights, but Ravelry does not. When you go to Ravelry, I'm here on the yarns section, but I'll go into this support page and get this here chart of Ravelry standard yarn weights. Like I mentioned, there are so many different ways of categorizing yarn, so I'm only using this here one, which is a very commonly used one. So to start looking for substitution, you need to know which one of these yarn weights your yarn is in. This shows you the address of this here page. So there are different ones in different countries, and this does not include all of them. And because the yarn label doesn't tell me what weight it is in these here names, I'll look for that. So I'll write the name of the yarn here. It's called Gjestal Janne, and I'm searching for it, and it found it. So it's worsted weight here. Then let's go to another tab of the same page, Yarns in Ravelry, and I'm going directly to Advanced Search because it has lots of different choices you can make. And we start going through this here panel in the left for what we need. I tick has photo because I like to see what the yarns are like. Then number of fiber types 2. And with all of these, when I'm doing this here, I change this match any of these to and match all of these, because otherwise you get too many different kinds. So it has to have 2 fiber types. And then which fiber types? The main one here is wool, and there's so many different wools that exist, but it did not mention which wool it was, so I'm just ticking all wool. And then it had polyamide, which is a manufactured fiber, so you get lots of different ones of those here. And looking for it, it's polyamide or nylon, so I'm ticking that, and again changing this any to all of these. Then continuing to the weight, and we saw that it was worsted weight, so I'm ticking that, and again it needs to be and there. And then there are many other ones here, but this shows us enough of what choices I have. So all of these here are similar enough that you could use them to substitute the original yarn you had, but of course there's an awful lot of these here. So what you need to do is to go through this here list and find something that you know you can get, depending on where you are. So the search is not over when you get to this here page, and there's many pages here, different kinds. For instance, I'm in Finland, so I straight away noticed one. This is something you can get here in a number of yarn shops or online shops. You can also see that the content of wool and nylon varies between these different ones. And this here actually is the most common, 75 to 25, whereas the pink one has 85 to 15%. So I look for that here. And then let's go to the other yarn we had and do a similar search. Go into the top here and clear search. The other yarn is like this here. It has alpaca, merino and nylon. And this one actually tells you the weight. It's DK, so we can skip that bit. It just varies if the label tells you that or not. And again tells you how many meters it has in it. So this tells it in 100 grams. In the way my thinking works, I know these weight so well in 50 grams. So it tells you 215, so I divide that by 2 to get 100 and about 7, and that tells me exactly what weight the yarn is. But then back to Ravelry, and we go through this again here, looking for the yarn that will be similar to that other one. So it had 3 fiber types, and again changing it to the and, match all, and then we find those fiber types. It had alpaca, 50% alpaca, and that's under the camelid. Don't know how you say that word actually, but it's all that type of animals. So it's alpaca, and also it didn't specify which alpaca, so I just put alpaca in general. Then it had wool and specified that it's merino. So here merino. And then the third one was nylon, so that's in the manufactured one, the same one as before. And now we have those 3, and then again and then the weight is DK, and it has to be that. And again there's these other ones here that we are not going into. So now it tells you the ones that you could change it to. And then you go over these and find something that you could get hold of, wherever you are and wherever you can order from. Here again we see that the percentages of each fiber varies, so you may need to look at those depending on what you are making. And every time when you are using this database, you can open up any of the yarns and find more information about it. And many projects that have been done with it. This particular one just has 39, but you can open those and see if that gives you any indication to you of what you want to make and if that yarn would be ideal for you. Quite often you don't even need to select all of these different facts about the yarn. Instead you can just choose the main ones. For instance, you may choose to use slightly different fibers as long as they feel about the same. So I would not substitute cotton with wool or the other way around, because the way cotton and wool feel and stretch and all that is very, very different. But for instance, if the original yarn is 50% wool and 50% acrylic, you may be able to play around with those percentages. And the same as we already saw, and how much nylon or polyester content there is in wool, like in sock wool. But overall, this here method works well, and I hope you get the use of it. And it took me so long to set up here outside that even though it's raining, I continue to the end. By now, my glasses are all wet. Until next time.